you take a buy and the algorithm deletes the trade, maybe it's expired, maybe it doesn't show up anymore, you can still keep the trade on. So just because a trade disappears doesn't mean you should delete the limit order. That's the only thing you should be doing. You don't exit price or exit the trade when you're in drawdown. Always move to break even when the trend goes against you. That's the only time when you should get out of break even. Do you have an entry criteria to be met in order for you to enter a trade, or do you only execute on pending orders? Yeah, only pending. No, never do market execution. So when you're trading, you have to think about, how are these retail traders thinking? What direction will they take, and what direction are the institutions going to take? Because, if, as we know, 90% of the traders lose. So if you can just learn how they think and try to outsmart them, you're already going to have an edge. So where are you guys coming in from? Type it into the chat. Let me quickly send this link to the group. Belgium, awesome. Australia, Denmark, awesome. If you guys want these cups, go to a shop. You guys can buy these cups there if you guys want some cool mugs. Okay, awesome. Cool. Welcome to the weekly Q&A. Let me make sure this is pinned. Awesome. Welcome to the weekly Q&A, everyone. Nice to have you here. If you're new, this is your first time, this is kind of where we go over any questions you guys have. If you guys have questions about anything really, BFT, Sonar, any of the trades that we have going on right now, now is a good time to ask. So you can put those into the chat and we'll just go through them one by one and then answer those as we go. Yeah, if you guys haven't watched it yet, the weekly market review got published today as well. That will be pushed out every week on Mondays. Where do we find that? Where do we find the market review, or which one? If you just go to the YouTube, that's where you'll find that. So just type in Breakfree Trading into YouTube, and then it should be the most recent published one. You said GBP CAD is cleaner than GBP CHF. Okay, let's have a look. Okay, so let me see if I can open these side by side. Give me 1 second, and then I'll open them up side by side, and then we can look at them. So we got GBP CHF on the right, we got GBP CAD to the left. They are very similar, but there's some minor differences. So the biggest one, sorry, I can share my screen yet. 1 second. Okay, there you go. So we got GBP CAD here on the left, and we got GBP CHF here on the right. And the biggest difference here is just the way the structure, price is looking on these pairs. So if we look at GBP CAD to the left, you can see this neutral level where we're entering is lining up very nicely with this entire broken level here. So in terms of looking at it from a support and resistance standpoint, you can see there's a very clean support and resistance here. If we look at this, you can see there's some resistance support here, but it's not as clean as we have the break here, because we got a really big volume push on this candle here, push price up. So it kind of lines up with this too. If the break would be like, the entry would be here like this, then it would be, I would say, a cleaner trade, but it doesn't quite line up. At the end of the day, you're gonna get the same outcome most of the time. But for me, I just like to see which one is cleaner for me, so I just have that confidence booster in the trade. So you will get the same outcome. It's just, which one do I believe in more? Which one is cleaner to take? Sometimes they can play out differently, but most of the time they're going to play out the same either way. But for me, I just want to make sure I'm in the right trade. So this one is just how price behaved around that level. It's just a lot cleaner on GBP CAD, in my opinion. So you can see today. It even wicked into entry on GBP CHF. It didn't quite go into entry yet. So it's good that we picked this one, because now you guys will be entered if you guys followed this. I don't know when it happened. Hopefully before the video came out. But yeah, so this one, it just looks cleaner based on price, and this one you can see is not that clean. CAD JPY on daily did set up last week. Now it recalculated with TP. Stop was closer to entry. Now it seems to have been repeated once. Let me open that up. No, so you could say it's repeated just because it got recalculated, but it didn't quite go to a TP2 yet. So I would say this is still fresh because it only hit TP1. You also have it a lot of times where price will go to TP1, come back down and retest. So it recalculated. So before I think the TP was higher. If we just go back a little bit. So, or this here was a TP1, I believe. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this here was a TP1. And then I believe this here was our TP2. So if we now skip ahead, this is how it would look. Yeah, so this here was a TP2 and this one was a TP1. So it didn't quite hit your original TP. Always stick with the original values. That's what you kind of want to stick with, especially if your stop loss moves. So if the stop loss goes down, then never move the stop loss down further if you're buying, because now the stop loss moved further up. That's fine. You can change the stop loss, but never increase your risk. Reducing risk is fine, but never increase your risk. In terms of your TPs, me personally, when I set the trade up with specific values, I keep it the same. So if your original TP was here and this one, you would keep it there. Don't change it. That's the way I go about it. That's how you should go about it too. That's going to be the most consistent way to do it. That way you don't always have to update your trades. If you take a buy and the algorithm deletes the trade, maybe it's expired, maybe it doesn't show up anymore, you can still keep the trade on. So just because a trade disappears doesn't mean you should delete the limit order. As long as the trend is still in your favor, you can still take the trade. So if you look at the ITD, you can see local's up, global's up. So everything's still good. I mean, the trade still shows up, but let's say the strategy mode disappears and you've already set your limit orders. Don't just take them off just because the algo took it off. As long as the trend is in your favor, you can still keep those on. Page 21 on the BFT handbook is not clear for me. Let me see if I can open that up. 1 second. Page 25. Okay, so that's the ITD. Is that correct? Do you have questions about the ITD? What to do when the algorithm recalculates? If the algorithm recalculates, you can just keep the position the same. Unless you don't want to hold that long, you can move your TPs to the new values, but never move your stop loss because you don't want to increase the risk of your trade. Follow up from the previous Q&A. Yeah, shoot it, Jose. If the RTD changes, what about the trade? So if the RTD goes against you and the strategy mode trade is now gone, then you can move to break even. So then move your TPs to your entry and then wait for price to go back into your entry, and then you out at break even. That's the only thing you should be doing. Don't exit price or exit the trade when you're in drawdown. Always move to break even when the trend goes against you. That's the only time when you should get out at break even. Other than that, just keep it the same. So let's say if you're in a CAD JPY daily time frame, let's say this thing goes below your entry and you're deciding if you should get out. If global is still up, there's nothing for you to do. Just keep the trade. Because just because it went below the level doesn't mean it'll go to stop loss. I mean, it can, but it doesn't mean that. It can hover around here and then shoot back up. So just because you're in drawdown doesn't mean it's a bad trade. Doesn't mean you're going to be in a loser. It just means the trade needs a little more time to play out. So the way to go is practice on a demo for 2 months, then a real account, small, and then apply for a prop firm. Yeah, that's kind of the process that works well. And of course, the goal is to be consistent, right? So you're gonna have a consistent result. There's no point to do the prop firm if you're not being consistent. And then also check. Let's say you want to go with a specific prop firm. Make sure you'll look at their rules and their requirements. And then when you're trading your live account or your demo account, make sure you can reach those requirements on your own account. So if they want you to meet 10% in 30 days or 18 days, make sure you can do that on your own account a couple of times, and then you can go and do that. Or if they want to draw down to be 5 or 4% max, make sure you meet that criteria. So you can practice that on a small live account or a demo account first, and then you can later do that on a prop firm account. And so on be display for customized watch lists. Any plans for that in the future? If you want, you can put that into the feedback portal. So we go to feedback.breakfreetrading.com. You can enter that in there, and then if people like it, they can upvote it. And then if that's something the team wants to build out, then we can for sure do that as well. This looks like an okay trade to take. Let's look at the 1 hour, 4 hour. Not quite. For some of these trades, if you have a trade where, for example, on CHF JPY in 50 minutes, this looks like a really good, trade. We broke this level here. We're looking for the retest. If you have this, but then on a high time frame, you have the extensions like this, you would want to wait for those to leave first. So what I usually do is I'll wait for these extensions to disappear, and then once those are gone, then I'll set up this trade, because then I have an increased probability of hitting TP. Because on a high time frame, this is a large resistance. So this here is a pretty big resistance. We don't want to take trades on these levels. So if you wait for those to leave first and then set up this 50-minute trade, that's going to work much better. You have an entry criteria to be met in order for you to enter a trade, or do you only execute on pending orders? Yeah, only pending. No, never do market execution. If I placed an order, then after 3-6 hours, the BFT panel disappeared. You can't read it anymore. What should I cancel the order? No, just keep, if the trade disappears, you can keep the pendings open. I did some trades today. How can you see when it's being processed? Do you see that in MP5? Yeah, so just open your MetaTrader platform, make sure those trades are copied into your MetaTrader 5, and then yeah, you should be able to see all that in there. When you have 100% alignment on X mode, do you set your TP direction based upon the RTD only, or are there particular price action patterns do you look at for market direction? Yeah, so I look at price to determine if it's uptrending or downtrending, and then I confirm that with the RTD. So I base it on structure. So, you know, if the market is doing higher lows and higher highs, that means we're uptrending. And if we're doing lower highs and lower lows like this, that means we're in a downtrend. And then your TPs will be based on the levels. So the TP, if you enter here, you can see the TPs are always based on levels on X mode. They're connected, but I don't see what is actually happening. So you probably haven't gotten triggered. So if you set orders, but price doesn't go into the orders, that means you're still pending. So price actually, they have to get triggered first. And once they're triggered, then that's where you'll see, you know, the numbers moving, and, you know, you'll have your open, your floating profit and loss. So you see if you're going to be in the green or in the red. But yeah, that happens when the orders actually get triggered. Because when you place a trade, it doesn't go into the trade right away. Price first has to go into your order, open the order, and then it'll get open. So, you know, you'll tell the broker, I want to sell at $10, and if price goes to $10, it's going to open your trade, and then when it goes down, that's when you make money. Is it better to download the platform? Yes. AUDNZD 4-hour. Let's have a look. I think it'll go a little higher. I think it'll go to this level here. So what I'll do in this case, if you haven't taken it yet, if you're in this trade, you can keep it. But if you're not, I will wait to have a 4-hour close below your resistance here. So you want a 4-hour kind of closing below. Once you get that, then you can set your sell limit back on this level. Because most likely, if you get the close below, price will come back to retest, and then you can you're in the trade, and then you can take it down. So right now, price is, you know, trading above your resistance. You can see local is still up. It's not really losing momentum. You see it's kind of flat at the moment, which makes sense because we've been consolidating here. So lots of times, but when that happens, you know, price could break out the same way it came in like this. Of course, it can form a resistance here and then go down. That's why for me to take this trade, I need to wait for kind of closing below this level, and then I can set up an order. You can see in the past, you know, all these candles here, you can see all the candles that were touching this level, they all closed above. So you can see this kind of closed above, this kind of closed above, this kind of closed above, all these kinds closed above. That means buyers are able to keep price above the 1.06 level, which is where we were trying to sell. So, but if we get a kind of closing below this level, that means sellers are trying to push price down. So we want to wait for that to happen, and then we can enter the trade. Right now, you can see all the candles are holding above the resistance, which means buyers are able to control price above that level, which is something we don't want to see. You say NZDUSD on the 50-minute is an example of a trade to skip. If you got the extensions, then yes. Should we assume that if the BFT panel calculation disappears, means the order zone had been triggered already, that we should not enter anymore? No. There's a few other reasons why it can disappear, which doesn't always make it a bad trade. So sometimes volume goes down, you know, the trade can disappear, or a small change in the RTD, then it can get removed. So if the trade is there, you set it up as pending, you can just keep it. If you're in the trade and the trade disappears on the navigator, you can still keep it. Only time when you should be removing trades is when the trend goes against you. And another tip, when you shouldn't be entering trades, is when it gets too repeated. So if you enter on the first time, great. Second time, awesome. A third time, that's when you want to be more cautious. You can enter the third time if you made money the first and second time, But if you look at the trade and you saw already played out 3 times, that's something you want to skip. I don't know if I can find an example of that right now. I believe these are all pretty fresh. But yeah, if it's repeated, those are some of the ones you want to skip. How many past candles do you scan to assess market structure? I couldn't tell you. It's kind of, you kind of, with the goal with that is to get a sentiment of where the market will be going. So whatever will tell me that, that's what I'll look at. So whether that's the daily time frame, the 1 hour, 4 hour, I want to know, okay, where's price going to go? So I'll start off here maybe on the 4 hour and see, okay, what am I sitting on strong resistance? Where could price go? So for example, USD, you can see it's kind of been consolidating. There's nothing here to do. So I don't even need to look unless I'm trading the 5-minute or the 15. Then of course there might be some trades here. So I'll look, okay, what's going on here? Right now, nothing. So this is so high, this is so low. Right now we're kind of trading in between that. This level here isn't really lining up with this high. The only good level I see this support. So break of the support and then down. That'll be really the only trade I see here. But then we're going against the trend, so we don't want to go against the trend. So on the 1 hour, I think that'll be kind of, we have a resistance here, needs to break. So you could probably try to get into a BC here. That'll be the trade I'm waiting for on USD, because then we're going with the overall trend. You can see it's uptrending. Right now we're in consolidation, so there's nothing to do here. You can see our RTDs are up. So what we need is a break of this resistance here, and then we can take it up to that next level up here. I don't know if it's repeated trade. So let's look at this here as an example. Let's say UUSD has a strategy mode on the support. Let's say there's a strategy mode here. Let's say it's telling you to buy this level here. Let's say this here is the trade. So you want price to come down into this level and then take a buy. So the question is this trade repeated? So we can base this on previous rejection. So if we look to the left, you can see we got a bounce here, we got a bounce here, we got a bounce here. So this trade played out 3 times. So if it hits the 4th time, there's a high chance this level can break. Let's see if we can find another example. Let's wait for this to calculate. Taking forever. Let's see if we can go this one. So this one, same thing. Let's say it's telling you to buy, I don't know, this level here. Let's say this is the trade. So this level here, if we draw this zone here, you can see this level or this buy pattern where people bought price up happened once, hit TP. You could say this one hit TP2 twice, 3rd time, and now it's going to go for the 4th time. So 4th time, it could play out for sure, but also couldn't. So we just don't know. So the more it's repeated, the less probability it will have, because eventually the zone will get weaker and weaker, because these levels are like pools of liquidity, right? So every time, if there's buy orders sitting on the support, every time price goes into the level, they'll trigger these buyers and then go up. Trigger the buyers and go up. Eventually, there's not going to be any buyers left here, and instead of pushing up, it'll fall down. Same thing with the resistance. This resistance is a pool of sellers, people who are trying to sell the market, whether that might be institutions, whatever. But every time this level gets hit, we can see a drop in price. So eventually the institution are going to say, okay, we're happy with, maybe it's too expensive. Maybe they want to get into a cheaper price. Or maybe they're happy with the profits. What they're going to do, they're going to start to sell their positions. So maybe they're going to push it up one more time to sell their positions up here. And then they're going to push it down. All the retail buyers are going to buy here because it already played out so often. And what they're going to do, they're going to maybe have a little fake out, make them happy a little bit, and then push down. And then once they're pushing down, it's going down, it's going down. All the retail traders are going to think, oh, price is going down. Let me sell. What are the institutions going to do? They're going to push price up, hit all the stop losses, and then come down. So when you're trading, you have to think about, how are these retail traders thinking? What direction will they take? And what direction are the institutions going to take? Because, if, as we know, 90% of the traders lose. So if you can just learn how they think and try to outsmart them, you're already going to have an edge. So with the way the algo works, it's kind of positioned that way. We trade on other people's mistakes. So just to give you guys a quick background on that. Are these all strategies we will learn with Dojo? You probably just learned 1% of it. Any Christmas offer for the Dojo? Nope. Eventually price will go up once we release the new updated course. which will happen next year sometime. I don't know when, but it'll be sometime next year. How much is Dojo? $7.99. Dojo price is $7.99, and then you guys will get access to, sorry, not access. You guys will get 3 months of Pro added on top of your subscription, and then you will get $100 you can use to buy merch like this coffee cup. And yeah, if you already have Pro, your subscription will just get extended. That 50-minute extension, your AUDNZD, is going to be so sweet. Awesome. Now that we have strategy mode and low time frames, how necessary, recommendable is to master X mode in case I'm interested in intraday prop from trading? I would say it's important. What's also more important is the actual price action understanding and the market understanding, and then lining that up with X mode. If you can do those two, you're going to be in a very good spot. If you just use X mode, it's probably not going to work that well. If you just use price action, of course it works, but if you line that up with X mode, that's where you really have that edge. So, you know, with Sonar or the lower time frame strategy mode trades, if you just take them blindly, you'll be at break even. So you're not going to be able to make any profit consistently just by trading these. You're going to have to go in and actually learn how to read the market. If you want to trade these 50-minute trades or the 1-hour time frame trades, or even the 4-hour time frame trades, you'll have success, but you need to learn how to filter out these trades and only take out the best ones. So for me, you know, I only trade 3 pairs. So I trade GBP/USD, EUR/USD, AUD/USD. Those are the 3 main ones I'm trading right now. And, you know, that's all I need. I don't need to look at all the majors and all the minors, all the indices, metals. You only need a few pairs that you can trade really well. And that's all you need for prop firm. You'll notice the less you do, the better results you get. So even with Sonar, you know, there's no point to taking all the trades. Figure out what are the best ones for the day, and then set up maybe 1 or 2 trades. That's all you need. And of course, turn X mode on with that. You know, turn X mode on, see how these trades develop. Can you find patterns in these trades that you can replicate on your own X mode trades? And then just start trading 1 or 2 pairs. You know, like I said, EUR/USD, gold, any of the majors, they're going to work the best because they have low spreads, lots of volume. They're going to be the easiest to trade. If the course gets updated, those who went through the Dojo in December, let's say, will miss out on the new updates. No, so if you buy today, you're going to get all updates. Everything that gets pushed out, you guys will receive all updates. I'm not looking to become a full-time trader, but I'm considering Dojo to improve my swing trading. Yes, it'll improve your swing trading as well. Yep, for sure. Will there be Dojo classes Sunday, Monday? Not right now. Usually it's Wednesday or Friday. Yeah, can't do those days right now. Is there a way to do 3 TP long position using the charting tools in left column? So, you know, the position tool in the navigator that you can set up manually, that's just to see, okay, you know, this is where I'm going to be entering, this is when I'm going to be exiting. Like, you want to have a TP3, it doesn't work right now. But I guess if you do want that, you can put it into the feedback portal, feedback.breakfreetrading.com. And if other people want it, they can upvote it, and we can see if it's worth building out and lots of people want it, then of course we'll do that. Is the reason why we have 3 entries. Yeah, it's just to better, you know, scale and scale out. So it allow you to get better entries and have a better risk reward for the trade. It works well when you have an edge in the market and you're letting that edge play out. If you have a losing strategy, it's not going to work out that well if you use more orders. But with X mode, with the strategy mode, the 3 orders work quite well. We've tested 2 orders a couple of weeks ago. We went back to 3. Me personally, for my trades, I use 2 positions for my lower time frame trading because it works well for me. So yeah, I mean, if you prefer 2, you can do 2. If you want to do 3, you can do 3. But 3 just allows you to get better price for your trade, for your entry, which then it'll result in a better reward. Pro plan works on stocks as well. Same system and strategy correct? Yes. Yeah. Works well in equities. We always have quite a few trades in equities, I believe. Can you do it with options? So options, you know, you can do it with options for sure, but it's a little different, right? Because you know, with options, there's certain contracts. So with CFDs, or if you're do your own futures trading or whatever you want to do, you can enter and exit anytime. With options, you know, there's some limits to that. As for my settings so far, at least, I don't trade options that much. For X mode, that's where options will be nice for X mode. Strategy mode will be a little more difficult, but X mode will be perfect for options. What do we do if we only have 2 of our positions are hit, but the third position not filled? What do we do with the third position? Just keep it the same. So if you get 2 orders filled and the third one is still left open, pending, then you can just leave it. Sometimes price will come back for like a double top or double bottom, and then the third order will get placed, will get filled. If 2 orders get filled out of the 3 and it goes to TP, you can set your 2 orders back on that original spot. So you're back at 3 orders, and then you can trade that trade as a repeat. So again, you know, you can repeat trades a couple of times, especially if you've made money on the first one or the second one. The third, fourth time, that's when you'll be more careful. For me personally, I only take trades 3 times, and then I'm done. So if it's more than 3 times, that's when I cancel all my pendings, and then that's where I called a day. All right, guys, that's it for today. Thanks everyone for joining. If you guys have further questions, you can post them into the global chat. Like always, make sure to watch the replay if you guys need to. Weekly market review is also out. And if you guys have questions, post them into the global chat. We'll be back next week, Monday, same time, same place, same link. Everything will be the same. So feel free to put this into your calendar, bookmark it, whatever you have to do. And then I'll see you guys next week. All right, bye-bye. See ya.